What's good, family? Um, Welcome to the Monday morning check-in with your boy Ro Lamb. Um, so, if you don't know me, my name is Ro Lamb. I am a writer, a creative, and part of the reason why I'm starting off sort of slow is because I had a before I get into this is a Monday morning check-in, right? Where I just talk through how I'm doing with my writing, give you updates on projects that I'm working on. Um, and I actually wasn't necessarily going to do it this week. I didn't do it last week. I was a little under the weather last week. Um, and I actually still have a little bit of a cough. Um, so I wasn't going to do it, but I realized that I need to um, really put a lot of um, intentionality behind my habits, um, my consistency. So I said, I'm gonna make sure I do my Monday morning check in today. So here we are on the Monday morning check in. The first thing that I wanted to let you know is I came across a young woman named Michaela Rose on Instagram, and I should have had her information written down. But she has a very, very unique way of looking at the world, and she um, she recently oops she recently I'm opening up my Instagram to find to find her information. Um, but she recently put out a what does she call it? Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up right now. I'm gonna let you know what it's called. It is called nope, that's not where it's at. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. The Gods of the New Era. The Gods of the New Era. And it really had an impact on it's the gods of it's the gods of the new era, the creator's manual for building the next world. And it's by Michaela Rose. Um, and if I had to sum this up in a nutshell, it's about learning and figuring out how to show up in this world in the totality of who you are and how to present that to people. And for me, one of the things that I've been saying for a long time is, as a writer, one of the reasons that I write is to connect people to themselves. I want to make a connection with people and I want people to connect with my work. But ultimately, when they connect with my work, what I want them to do is I really want my work to be a mirror, if you will. So I put that as a part of her book. She had a there's like a almost like an AI companion that goes with it, and the AI will sort of like walk you through what like who you are, your skills, your talents, and like help you crystallize that. And so that's one of the things that I put in there. I said, I I want to connect people to themselves, and it helped me sort of revise or refine that statement. And what we came up with was um, basically the advice that it gave me was that me saying, I tell stories to connect people to themselves is not, it's not actionable. And so it said, so it helped me get to this place where it said, um, I build narrative worlds for the interior frontier where questions are more important than answers. I build narrative worlds for the interior frontier where questions are more important than answers. And so I'm going to start working that into, my bios and even, last week on Patreon, I shared the early drafts of the cover for my new novel. And on that, in the bio, I actually have in there that, I connect people to themselves. But I'm going to go back and change that and put this new bio. For a long time, I've been looking for ways to, how do I encompass all of the things that I do? Because I'm a writer, but I'm also a creative strategist. I'm also somebody who can, help people generate ideas and give people directions on, okay, this is where you are. This is where you're trying to get. Okay, let's brainstorm and let's figure out how we can go from here to there. Right. And so I don't know. I feel like this new bio sort of encompasses all that. Right. So anyway, that has me excited. That's a long introduction, if you will. But you'll start seeing that more. Danny J. Quick, my brother, what's going on? What's going on? Hope you're doing well, brother. So yeah, so you'll be seeing that more from me. The next thing I wanted to talk about, I wanted to well, you know what? Before I talk about that, I want to get an update on my novel. But before I talk about that, I want to do an update. I'm glad Danny reminded me. I need to talk about this before I forget it. I am the executive editor for a company called Bequest Studios, and we publish, we create and publish comic books and graphic novels with the goal of giving you value beyond entertainment. And right now, we have our first, Make 100 Kickstarter campaign going on that has a it's for a poster with artwork done by Wally McNair. Definitely, the link is in the description of this video. If you're on YouTube, it's in the description. It might be on Facebook. I don't think I put it on Facebook. I think I put it on YouTube. But definitely go and check that out. We have a goal of 500. The money from that is going towards helping us to build out this fantasy world called Kadara. If you like fantasy, you like epic fantasy, you like Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia, Game of Thrones, it's in that vein. We got dragons, we got magic, we got sorcerers, we got we don't really, I was about to say political intrigue. We don't really have political intrigue yet, but I think, I've been looking and studying some of these, transmedia companies, right, where they're building, like, you think like, the Star Wars expanded universe, or you think, I was looking at Pokemon yesterday. I was looking at, look at the Cosmere with Brandon Sanderson. They just signed a deal with Apple. There's so many opportunities. And the question is, what world are you going to build? What world are you going to invite people into? And so this is our first foray into inviting people into this world called Kadara. We're still working through, exactly what Kadara is and what Kadara can be and what it will be. But it's been a fun process. If you know anything about the creation process, then you know that there are, the ups and the downs of the creation process. And for me, I love the creation process, even when it's a slog, right? And this is a slight tangent, but this is the thing about when we talk about like AI, right? And we got to figure out this balance of, I personally don't think, I think there's space for AI in some ways, right? But I think when you use AI to circumvent the creative process, that's where we get in trouble, right? If you're using, you're using AI to say, like, for example, I might use AI and I'll say, hey, can you tell me all the, you know, the moments in history where dot 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 happened, right? It can give me that, right? But I'm not going to say, hey, can you write this next chapter for me? It's two completely different things. And I think one of the biggest things that AI takes away from us is, or it has the possibility of taking away from us, is the process that we go through in order to create what we create. And I think there's something fulfilling about going through that process. And even when it's not always fun, because when you get to the end of that process, you can look back and you can say, wow, these are all the things that I went through to create this thing. And when you use AI to circumvent that process, now we get into questioning what is the heart behind what you've just created, right? What is the soul behind what you just created? Now I've lost my train of thought. I don't know how I got into that. Oh, because I was talking about the creative process that the team and I has been going on dealing with Kadara. So yeah, so we're in the thick of the creation process. We've been working on this for about 2 years. I am very excited to get to the point where we can really put this in front of people and invite people to see and experience what Kadara is. And I think it's the first thing that you will see from Bequest Studios in terms of what we're able to do, and also what our vision is in terms of what types of stories we want to tell, what types of projects we want to share. You know what I mean? So that's that. I see Danny posted the link in the Facebook comments as well. I just looked at the campaign. We have 21 days to go. We have a goal of $500. We're at $378 and 6 backers. So we would love your support. Definitely go and check it out. If that sounds good to you. So now I want to talk about the novel. So the novel, The Unveiling Stars. I am hard at work on the novel. It's called The Unveiling Stars. It's an epic fantasy. If you don't know, I love epic fantasy. So I started out writing a superhero comic book series called Scarlet Ranger. Side note, this is issue 3 right here. Got these guys in. Excited to start shipping those out. I'm super late on the Kickstarter. Man, that's a whole other story. Anyway, I started out writing, a superhero comic book series. But superheroes, they were my favorite before I knew that there were other things that could be done. And so epic fantasy is probably my favorite genre to write in. It's probably my favorite. I like to write in other genres. I like to experiment. I like to explore. I like to see what I can mash together and play with and figure out, right? But I think my favorite is epic fantasy. And so this novel I've been working on for about 5 or 6 years. And last week I posted early drafts of the cover for paid subscribers on Patreon. So I'm going to be using Patreon from here on out to really document this process and the progress of working on, this novel. I also got to keep track of time because I actually have a writer sprint that I got to do at 10. I'm just talking like I got all day, but I need to keep my eye on the clock. Anyway, so yes, I've been working on this novel about 5 or 6 years. And when I got to probably like last year, it was probably like August, I said, yo, I really need to finish this. And I said, you know what? I'm going to put my deposit down on the cover. Put the deposit down on the cover. We've been working on the cover and I am loving it. I think it is Ashton, if I remember correctly, her last name is Smith, Ashton Smith, incredible cover artist. Really gave me a solid first draft. And I was looking at it and I'm like, I don't want to fall in love too quick, right? Like, I don't want to I don't want to fall in love too quick, but I really did love it as soon as I saw it. We made a few changes. I know we're still gonna need a couple of things. Like I got to get my Arthur photo in. I gotta switch out the bio, like I mentioned before. Got to switch up the synopsis a little bit because now the story is a little bit different. I got to get, I think I said this, my logo, my ISBN on there. So there's a couple of things that I need to put on there. And I'm going to ask her about the color. I want to do something a little different with the color. But I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. So we'll see. I'm going to talk to her about it and see what we can do. But anyway, it looks great to me and I'm excited about it. But getting that artwork in, is really inspiring and it's really exciting to be getting the artwork in, right? Pardon me. So we got that cooking. The other thing that I started working on this week was I reached out to some concept artists. And so I was wary about actually getting images of my characters because I sort of like the idea of with a novel, the reader can sort of bring their imagination to the story, to the world. And, I've always been like, I don't want to, give them, the images. I want them to create the images for themselves. Benjamin, what's good, brother? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. I don't want to give them the images from the novel. I want them to me, that sort of separates the novels from the comic books, right? The comic books has the visuals in there. Whereas a novel it can be a difference in the process. But I was thinking about it and I think there's something like I can really build this world out into something bigger than a novel, right? We can do the novel and then we can do some other things. And I think people are enticed by I know people are enticed by the visuals. So I talked to a couple of concept artists I want to get concept art of my main characters. I want to do concept art for some of the places in this world. So I've been talking to them about that, seeing how much that might cost. I had somebody offer to invest. I told them about, my book and what it's about, and they offered potentially to invest. And so if we have some investment, we have some funding, it might be a cool thing to have, right? So sorry about that. Like I told you, I still got a little bit of a call for me. So anyway, so I'm working on that. And I think the other thing about that too, though, is there's something about getting artwork in your inbox, right? And I know this from writing comic books. You write the book, you send the script off, you get the comics in. It's like, wow, this is incredible. So now that I'm talking to these concept artists and I'm working on, I got the cover and we're working on the cover. I'm really looking at the novel a lot different because it's like now it's real. You know what I'm saying? We're putting money into this thing now. It's real now, right? So as of today, let me look at it to make sure I'm not lying to you. As of today, we are 41,000 words in on this fourth draft. I actually was up at 4 this morning working on chapter 27. So we're at 41,000 words. I'm shooting for 90 to 100,000 words. So we're about halfway through. And I just feel really inspired and I feel really, wait, can y'all hear me? Yeah. We good. I feel really inspired to get this thing done because it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really real. Seeing the artwork and seeing my name on the cover. Again, if you want to see it, it's on Patreon. I gave it to the paid subscribers first, the early drafts. So if you want to see it, I would love for you to become a paid subscriber. We have $5 a month, $15 a month, $25 a month. And that money would just go towards, well, one, it'll go towards helping me live as a writer, but also it's going to go towards getting this project done and getting other projects done. So I would love to have your support. Patreon.com. It's in if you're on YouTube, it's in the the description of the video. So anyway, I just feel really, really inspired and motivated to get it done. I'm on the 4th draft. I know I'm going to need one more draft because as I'm writing, there are things that I'm figuring out as I'm writing. I need to go back and add some things and move some things around so things make sense. But so I know I'm gonna have to do that. So I cannot wait to get to my 5th draft. And I think one of the things I've been thinking about too is perfection. I could work on this book for the rest of my life and it probably still wouldn't be perfect, right? So I'm gonna have to figure out that balance between, okay, it's good enough, and I know it's not perfect. I got to figure out that balance. So I know I'm gonna do one more draft, a 5th draft, and I'm strongly feeling like I'm not gonna do no more drafts after that. Obviously I'll need to go back in and do a polish, but that won't be like this next 5th draft will be basically a rewrite. So let me say it like that. I'll do one more rewrite and then we'll polish it up. And I'm looking at December 8th to be the date when I publish it. December 8th is my birthday, if you do not know. So I'm thinking December the 8th, that's gonna be when I publish it. And I'm getting the concept art and doing some things because I think I have a cool idea for a companion project to go along with it. So we'll see how we go. So anyway, if you want to support the novel, you want to support what I'm doing, definitely check out my Patreon. Definitely, I would love to have you as a paid supporter to support the work and support, what I'm doing. So that's that. Now I want to talk about what my author goals are for this week. So last week I had some very, very ambitious goals and I did not accomplish them. And I'm always learning these lessons about, hey, let's have some realistic goals. Let's set some realistic standards. And so this week, I don't know where I wrote my goals down at. That's the thing. I need to start using the same notebook every week, so I can't even talk about what I did. I know I wanted to write 3 chapters last week, and I think I wrote 1.5, which was still good progress, but it wasn't what I said I wanted to do. So this week I'm not doing chapters. I'm just saying, look, I need to write 1,000 words a day, every day this week. I got up at 4 this morning and wrote 1,000. At 10 o'clock, I have a writer sprint with my writing group. And so I'm probably going to do 2,000 today. So that's great. And that's my author goal. That's my main author goal this week, is just to get 1,000 words a day and just push me closer to getting this thing finished. And I think that's that. Wednesday night, I have a great, that's actually 2 guests. We're doing a Roland Live. It'll be Creative Extreme. I'm not looking at the notes right now in front of me, but Creative Extreme. Their co-founders are coming on Wednesday night. We're going to have a great conversation. That's the show that I do Wednesday nights, where we talk about creativity. We talk about life. We talk about how it's all connected. They have a really cool company. I've been sort of researching and studying what they're doing. I don't know what year it was. I don't remember what year it was, but they put out like a character a day for like 365 days. In there, I think it's like a superhero universe. So I'm excited to talk to them about their process and their collaboration and how they have sort of built everything out. So I'm doing that Wednesday night. I'm sure I'll be, putting out flyers so you can see that. Another thing I wanted to tell you about before I get out of here is a company that a friend of mine, he and I co-founded, is called A Tribe Called Dads. So we're selling hats and hoodies and t-shirts. We actually are working on a podcast. We put out our first episode last week. It's called A Tribe Called Dads. And we're going to start doing some video through this channel, through the Rolam channel. I think we're going to start doing those on Fridays. So I'm excited to bring that to y'all. I think our first one, we did the audio on Spotify last week, and I didn't put the video up. So I'm going to make sure I get the video up this week. I think we're recording on Thursday this week. So I'll make sure I get those up. And you can tune in if you're a dad, if you know a dad. You can grab a hat, you can grab a hoodie, you can grab a t-shirt. Um, but yeah, it's just a cool, it's a cool brand that he had the idea for, and I think I just sort of helped him come up with the name for it and like what it could be. And it's just it's a space. We want to create a space for dads and fathers to talk and to share um, their struggles, their triumphs, all those things, right? We want to build communities for dads. And so starting the podcast, we got the hats, we got the hoodies. You'll hear more about that in the future. And with that, I think that's it. Thank y'all so much for tuning in again. If you're on YouTube, I need to make sure I put all my links on every channel. But if you're on YouTube, if you want to support me, the Patreon link is there. That's where I'm doing everything that's novel related. You can even buy me a coffee. That would be lovely if you just wanted to, what I'm saying, throw me $5, $10, you know what I'm saying, for a coffee or a book. You feel me? Also, Substack on Wednesdays, I'm doing we're doing Rolam Live, but I'm also doing what's inspiring me throughout the week. So I think I put together some really cool lists. Just what's getting me going, what's getting my juices going, what's getting my creativity going. So definitely check out the Substack, become a member over there. And I think that's that. So we have a pretty full week, and hopefully I'll see you around. I'm excited to see you around, you know what I'm saying, in these different spaces as I'm checking in and writing and going live and chopping it up with people. So with that being said, thank y'all so much. Check out those links. Head to the Patreon, head to the Substack, buy me a coffee. And that's that. So I appreciate y'all, and I'll talk with you soon. Love.